welcome to another Wolftime gaming video. We're sticking with our Star Wars Armada theme at the moment, and today we're going to be painting the Scuurg H-6 bomber. Not the most exciting looking vessel I've ever seen, to be honest, but it's another vessel to stick on the tabletop and play this awesome game from Fantasy Flight, or now Atomic Mass, of course. Before we get started on that painting though, as usual, let's get that kettle on. Okay, so if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know the first thing we want to do is give it a base coat. Now I'm going to be using Games Workshop's Grey Seer to base paint all of these vessels, and you can see I'll do it in batches in this way with lots of little sticks, little bit of blue tack, stick them all on. Saves a lot of time in the long run because you get them all based at once, and then you can get this vessel or another vessel, of course, nicely base coated in and on your tabletop, ready to paint really quickly. Now, as I said, I've used Grey Seer for this one. It's a really cool contrast paint. It works really well, doesn't take away any of the details, and allows you to use some of the contrast paints, which of course is the direction we're going in a lot lately. Now, the first paint we're going to be using, which is of course a contrast paint, is Black Templar, which is Games Workshop's Black Templar black paint essentially. And to do that, I'm going to be picking out some of the details on the cockpit initially, because it's one of the areas that I always think is quite small. It's very easy to miss, so I wanted to get the paint on there really quick. And there's a few of the other details just on the front of the vessel and around the weapons as well that we could go with the black. Now, one of the main colours you can see on the reference image there is red for this particular vessel, so we're going with a Citadel paint, another Games Workshop paint called Evil Sun Scarlet, which is a really nice bright red and works well when you stick a little bit of null oil on there. It darkens it down quite nicely and stays still quite bright. Now, the center area is quite simple. You can see I've got a very fine tip brush just to pick out some of the smaller details around the vessel. Now, I've essentially followed some of the panel lines to paint the red, which I think is probably the easiest way to do that. And again, on the the edge of the wings, just along the edges, it's really easy just to do those red lines because you're following the panel lines and it's simple to do. Now, the next stage is the engines themselves, and I'm dropping a little bit of Avalanche Sunset just onto the two engine ports or engine exhausts. I'm not really sure the terminology, to be honest. The yellow really pops nicely. Now, I'm not sure actually what colour the engines are supposed to be on this particular vessel, but I think the yellow pops really nicely from that black and red. I think it looks really cool when you look at it from on the table, and you look a little bit further away, it sticks out really nicely. To make it look like it's glowing though, as I've done with previous vessels, if you watched any of my other videos, I've used Flash Gits Yellow just to paint the center of that yellow area with the Avalanche Sunset. So essentially it looks like it's glowing. It looks like the center of it is brighter, which gives it that glowing sort of a feel. Now, to finish the model off, I'll do a complete coverage of null oil over the whole thing apart from those engines. It's really important not to go on the engines because you want them to stick out from the rest of it. So just cover the whole thing, and what this null oil does is drop into all those recessed areas really easily and adds in all that shading, so you don't have to do any more to the vessel. So it's a really fast way of getting a fantastic looking ship on your tabletop, and you can use this for some of the bigger vessels as well, of course. But this is what you get in the end, and I think it looks brilliant, and I really can't wait to see how it does on the tabletop. It's not necessarily my most favourite vessel that I've painted for Star Wars Armada. However, it looks brilliant. I think the yellow shines up really nicely in comparison to the rest of the vessel, and I'm really excited to get a game in with this on the table as well. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Go and check out the channel now for more great content. There's loads of painting videos including Games Workshop, Star Wars and loads of fantasy settings such as Frostgrave and one of my favourites, Boars and Badgers. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.